not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Welcome to the senior show.
But that was loud, Neil. Holy
Whoa,
cow.
I'm sorry. I'm excited.
You're very excited today.
I'm excited today, where we have two wild and aging guys.
So we keep rehearsing that every week, and we're getting better and better at it.
You got
right?
it, Tim.
So hey, Neil, the premise of the show, right? We want to help individuals, navigate change with experience and peace of mind. And that's why every Monday we're here to discuss different topics to help our listeners, plan for more safe and secure retirement. Is that accurate?
Yes, and who are we, by the way?
I am, by the way, Tim Kennedy, your certified reverse mortgage professional. I'm one of maybe 200 in the entire country with that designation. And Neil?
Neil Himmelstein, Main Street Planning Group owner and also host of the Main Street Code, which is every Friday at 3. And so excited to do the show today, and we have a lovely guest.
Special guest. So we have Julie Matthews. Julie, I always ask people to send me a little bio, and I rehearse it and I practice, but I always butcher it. So why don't you do us a favor and introduce yourself, and then we'll beat you up with some questions.
Okay, so I'm Julie Matthews. I'm a personal trainer, a licensed physical therapist assistant, and a manual osteopathic practitioner. I've been working in the health and wellness field for about 6 years now, but I've always been into fitness. I played soccer when I was younger. I always knew I wanted to work in this field, and so I love what I do. I do a lot of different things combined, and so that's a little bit.
So Neil, I met Julie at Pulse Gym on Lockfield Road in East Northport. It's a great gym, right? And when I turned 60 or approaching 60, I said, man, I need to do something. Because up to that point, every time I felt like working out, I would lie down till the feeling went away, and I said, I need to get stronger and better because I want to live a much healthier life in retirement. And you and I, we talk a lot about finances,
right,
and change and plan. But what about our health?
Health and wealth are paramount. It's you got to have both. I mean, it's no good having a lot of money and feeling like crap.
There you go.
It's true.
Right. So, Julie, I imagine you help a lot of people that are Tim's age. I'm older.
Oh, there you go. Thank you very much.
I'm older than you. So that's okay. Yes?
Yes, I definitely do. I mean, I work with a wide variety of ages, and we always say the sooner you start, the longer you're going to feel better. So, even if you're starting at 60 to work out, you're going to feel better for longer, and there's a few movements that are very important, even like a sit to stand with aging, that's where you run the risk of falling if you're not strong getting up, or so little things like that make a big difference.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, that's one of the biggest issues when we talk about long-term care is I asked the spouse, I said, okay, you don't think you needed this and that, but let me ask you a question. Can you lift your partner out of their chair? In my family situation, my father, who had osteoporosis, bad neck and back, disintegrated discs, what started their whole long-term care journey, and he's since passed, was he couldn't get out of the bathtub. And my mother had to call 911. And they waited 3 hours for somebody to come to get him out of the bathtub.
Jeez, yeah.
And then he was fine, and then a couple weeks later it happened again. Well, this time, hey, we got other priorities. It was like 4 hours. It's not a good place to sit in the bathtub. So can you lift somebody out of a chair? Can you lift somebody out of a tub? These are issues that you have to consider, and why it's so important to have somebody like you who, back in the day, probably would help my dad quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely. And ways that
And your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my mom.
And
of
both
course.
of them, that he could be a little bit stronger to help, they could work together to get out of that situation. Because we do see when a fall happens, if someone's stuck in that can lead to other things, especially the older you get, the more of a domino effect that can have.
Absolutely.
So, Julie, I'm curious, what's the difference between, as a manual osteopathic practitioner, did I do that right? Because I butchered that word too.
You were close, manual osteopath.
What's the difference between that and just a regular massage?
So as a manual osteopath, I do some soft tissue work, which is what you'll get with a traditional massage, but I also incorporate some other things as well. I do some stretching, some joint mobilizations. I kind of look at the body as a whole. So it's with strength training and moving, sometimes, with age, you get aches and pains, a lot of chronic pain. So I can help with that too, with some hands-on treatments.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
I know for myself, for the last year and a half or so, I had a lot of neck, upper shoulder, lower back, high school, football, college, that type of stuff. And in the last year and a half, I feel great. Like, I can turn my neck left and right. My mobility, like the range may not be there, but zero pain.
That's amazing.
Right? And getting up and out of a chair, in and out of a car. It's like the little things that I'm like, oh, wow, I just did that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're not supposed to talk about bones and joints. I mean, that's another show. But seriously, having good health and good health habits is so important for longevity. And it's just essential to have that. I lost my train of thought there for a second.
So let's stick on the theme of like me, for example, with that chronic pain.
Yeah.
Right. So what are the benefits of what your practice is for individuals that do have that chronic pain?
So in combination with doing the hands-on treatments as a manual osteopath, being a personal trainer to show you things that you can do to strengthen, it's because mobility is important and strength is important. You mentioned osteoporosis before. As you age, that's more of a risk, especially in women. So if you're not doing those weight-bearing exercises, that all of that strength training, that can lead to osteoporosis, which is a whole nother thing that you're dealing with. But yeah, so both things together will keep you pain-free and moving better overall.
I remember being at the gym and they had me doing the stupid farmer's carry for 60 seconds, and I'm walking around the gym. This is the stupidest exercise I ever saw in my whole entire life. And then I went to Buffalo on a trip, and I landed into LaGuardia, and I had 2 suitcases.
Yep.
And I had from one end of LaGuardia to the other end of LaGuardia, and that's when I realized, I'm doing a farmer's carry, and I'm doing pretty good. I'm not even out of breath, and I'm doing pretty, so it works.
That's what we call a functional movement. You do it in the gym.
Well, it's very interesting. A lot of occupations. So my father was a veterinarian, so he was bending over an operating table. He also would throw a tennis ball like 3 feet behind his head, and with such a spin and he played every day for like 40 years that I think that was causation. But we find on the financial planning side, dentists in particular have a lot of back issues. Mm-hmm. And I think preventative work with somebody like you would be very helpful for those professions doing certain movements that may or not, that are repetitious, that may or may not be, and they're not obvious. Listen, if you're a contractor, it's obvious. But dentists have the highest propensity of having back issues from a disability standpoint than any profession I know.
Well, if you look at it, they're constantly on their feet, and they're not very mobile, right? It's not, they're sedentary.
Yeah, and if you're not doing anything to counteract what you're doing, they call that micro trauma, is doing like the same thing over a long period of time, and your body starts to adjust to that. So if you're flexed over, the muscles in the front of your body are going to really, really shorten and tighten, so it makes it more uncomfortable to stand up. And you do see that as people age, they tend to like hunch forward a little bit, which puts a lot of pressure into the back. Yeah. So yeah, I do ask people that question a lot. Like, what do you do for work? Do you sit at a desk all day? That too can lead to that chronic back pain. So
I get it. Tim and I, we're feeling it.
Like, you know where to find me.
What I find interesting, honestly, and I was going to mention this before, is, people take better, they get their oil changed, and I know so many people, they'll never go to the doctor, because we look at insurance all the time. Oh, they're perfectly healthy, they never go to the doctor. But that doesn't make them, to somebody underwriting and looking at their situation, doesn't make them like, oh, just because you don't go to the doctor doesn't mean that you're healthy.
That's right.
Or maintaining. And people will take care of their cars better than they take care of themselves. And then even guys and gals that work out and they run every day and do this, they don't see people like Julie and understand that their motions of just running every day may be affecting their hips, their knees, their back.
Yeah, definitely.
And if they're not prepared and they don't know anybody like Julie, they can wind up hurting themselves permanently, which I think is what my dad did with all his tennis. Okay, listen, my dad was a semi-pro soccer player.
That's cool.
But he was a veterinarian. And actually they asked him to travel and be with a pro soccer team, and he was just starting his vet practice, and I can't do it, and I can't travel. So with that in mind, he played tennis every single day. He played indoor, played outdoor. It was like
At least his cardio was up.
He had a great 9-1, 6. Oh, my dad was in great shape. As a matter of fact, this is a funny story. We had videos of my father playing tennis, and my son was little, and he says, "Well, Papa Mo, because you had a six-pack." I said, "Heck with him, I got a keg."
Hey, Julie. Hey, Julie. Real quick, we're going to go to break. But if somebody wanted to reach out to you, if you said something today that piqued their interest, how can they reach you?
So they can reach me. They can go to osteooasis.com, or they can text or call me at 631-745-2944.
Repeat that one more time. The phone.
631-745-2944.
And I am Tim Kennedy, your certified reverse mortgage professional. If you want to reach out to me, give me a call at 516-729-6040, 516-729-6040, or you can reach me at Tim Talks Reverse. Neil
Himmelstein, best way to reach me, 631-647-4694, and we'll be right back.
Right back.
Welcome back to the Senior Show with two wild and aging guys. Your co-host, Neil Himmelstein, with co-host Tim Kennedy.
Tim Kennedy here, and we have a special guest, Julie.
Hi, it's Julie.
Osteo Oasis.
Yes.
That's how they can reach you?
Yes.
Julie Matthews. And if you missed us before the break, Julie does marvelous things for people. She helps you with your health. And Julie, where's your practice? And tell us a little bit more about what you do and where you do it.
Okay, so my practice is located, I'm in East Northport on Larkfield Road inside of Pulse Barbell Club, which is a gym that I'm also a trainer at. So we have classes there, one-on-one training, and then I also have my own little office where I do my hands-on treatments as a manual osteopath. We also have a physical therapist in-house and a yoga studio. So it's kind of like everything in a one-stop shop, we like to call it.
So if you belong to the gym, I know Tim, that's where you work out.
I'm a believer.
That's where you work out. Okay. And then how do they come to you? I mean, do you get most of your people from the gym, or do you have a separate side? I'm confused.
I asked you the same question before we started,
You
right?
did, yeah. So I am very lucky that I have built my business on word of mouth, and I know that I have the gym to thank for that because everybody knows who I am. So it's like if someone has aches and pains or something's bothering them, they're not afraid to be like, "Hey, Julie, can I book an appointment with you?" So I do sometimes a little bit of marketing, but for the most part, it's all word of mouth and people from the gym. So, which is really cool.
So you do strength training and this.
Yep.
See, people think that when they're 30, I got to do strength training, but a lot of people when they're 60 or 60, they don't think about strength training.
Not at all.
And guess what? That's when you really need strength training.
Well, I mean, what I do for a living, I mean, I work with and deal with, the aging population every day of the week, and I hear these people on the phones, 60-something-year-olds, and they're huffing and puffing on the phone, and then I'll talk to a 90 or 90-something-year-old, and they just got back from a yoga class, or they just got back from walking the dog,
right.
and it all depends on, but you really want to take care of yourself, because this is it. We only have one of these, you know, and we got to take care of it. And
I find, I like to walk a lot, but I find that it helps my mental as much as my physical. It's getting the what do they call those things? The
endorphins.
The endorphins. That's it.
You're testing you, Julie. You passed. Good job.
You're passing.
She actually does know what she's talking about.
Yeah, it's good to get those endorphins out.
Yeah.
It was funny during COVID. I invented my own little thing called the walk and talk, where at 2:00 every day when I'd start to fade. Okay, I'd go out for my walk, and I have my headset on. I got my phone with me, and I'm still doing business, but I'm walking.
Yeah.
And I'm making it part of my whole thing. My wife thinks people in the neighborhood think I'm a little crazy because I'm talking to myself half the time, but that's what I do.
There you go.
Get movement in, yeah.
But that's how I get my things in. And I think it's so important to continue that path of incorporating working out and being mindful of all the different elements in working out, and which a physical trainer like yourself would take care of.
Yeah, and that's also a great way to kind of like, they call it habit stacking, right? Like if you need to make phone calls, but you go out and you walk, it's like, even if you don't, people always are like, well, I don't have the time. It's like, you can find the times during the day to get any movement is better than none, you know?
Well, a lot of people criticize me because I hear a lot of birds chirping when I'm on the phone on the business call.
I'm on.
Where the heck are you? Yeah, nature preserve. You know, I don't even say it.
I'm on a Zoom call, and one of my partners, as we're on the Zoom call, you see her. She's on the treadmill.
She's got like a walking pad.
On the Zoom call.
Yeah.
So and that's the great thing about technology and change.
I know,
Neil, and that's why we're here, because things change.
I know all these people. They're using these standing desks.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not for me. I like to sit, I guess. I don't know. But, no, I haven't really tried the standing desk, but, it seems like some people...
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Some people are on their feet the entire day.
So what is your daily process? Like what's your schedule like on any given day?
So my schedule always changes because, when you're by appointment, it kind of is, I try to work with people. I'm pretty flexible, I always say, but I probably would say I have like 7 to 8 sessions a day between training, coaching, and treatments. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's fun. I love the balance of it because when I'm doing treatments, it's a lot of physical work on my body, but then training, it gives my body a break. The other person's doing the work, and again, they work so well in combination. So yeah.
And are you available Saturday and Sundays?
I am. Yeah. I'm not in every Saturday. Usually Saturdays, like once a month.
So how long have you been doing this?
So I've been a personal trainer for about 6 years now, which is crazy. And I started my own business as a manual osteopath about 3 years now. So time goes by fast.
No, I've never heard of a manual osteopath before meeting you.
Yeah.
And is that like a separate degree, or how's that?
Yeah, so not a lot of people know about it. It's actually very popular in Canada. So what happened was I did my physical therapist assistant program, and I kind of wanted to do more. I wasn't really sure which direction to go in. And then one of my best friends started working for these 2 women in Garden City who were manual osteopaths. And she was like, come get a treatment and see what you think. So I went in, loved it, and I was like, how do I do this? Yeah, sure. Yeah. And so they worked for the school, so they did all my hands-on training. They're amazing. And then I worked for them for a while, and then when I started my own business, now I'm fully in East Northport.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you had to go to Canada to train, or?
I didn't, because they work for the school here, so I did all of the classroom work online, so and then the hands-on work with them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's cool because it's a lot of different treatments in one.
What's nice to know, listen, we like to let people know what's available, because you're sitting at home and you're hurting or whatever, and what do I go? And modern medicine, unfortunately, is so specialized, number one. 2, we're so heavily reliant on drugs, because if the doctors don't prescribe you anything, they don't get paid. It's such a
vicious cycle, sure.
It's a horrible system.
And then one medication offsets the other medication. They're going to take another medication. It's
a terrible system. And we always said, I'm not going to take any medicines. The next thing you know, you're taking 6 medicines. Like, what happened here? But maybe if I went to Julie, I wouldn't have to take... Right.
Well, go to Julie, and then it's all about, the physical activity.
And the maintenance.
And the diet. How about what we eat?
And the lifestyle.
So important. Yeah.
It's all about lifestyle.
Yep.
And if you want a happy lifestyle, you want to be physically, mentally healthy. Like I said, the mental is just as important as the physical. Mm-hmm. And doing the physical things will help on the mental with the endorphins and everything else. And people fail to realize that, you stop working out because you're hurt and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden the mental starts going kooky.
Yeah, it's all connected too with like stress management,
brain fog and everything else.
Yeah.
That's me.
Foggy. So we base this whole show, Neil, on change and being prepared and what to expect next.
Right.
And I'm in a room with 3 people where there's significant change going on. Right. I'm looking at this rock on your finger. It's gorgeous. Congratulations. Just recently engaged.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Neil. This past week, you are now a grandfather of a beautiful young girl, baby girl.
Yep.
There you go. And next month, I am marrying my oldest daughter.
Wow.
So there's significant change right here in this room, and how did we prepare for it? How did we do, like, what's happening behind the scenes? There's so much stuff going on, right?
And in everybody's life. Yeah. And you can't live in a closet and not talk to professionals and make sure that you're prepared. The worst thing is, when something happens and the alarm goes off, who do you call? Ghostbusters. No. That was a trick. But, having being prepared, you know who to call. You know how to coordinate your health, your wealth, and everything else. So we talk about planning and financial planning, but health and wealth are really hand in hand. If they don't work together, your plans are... Health will ruin your plans. If you have poor health or something happens beyond your control, it's one of those things. Listen, we could talk about the market.
Listen, and it'll diminish your finances too.
100%.
Hello? Yeah.
100%.
Hey, so the music's on. So, Julie, once again, if somebody wanted to reach you, how would they reach you?
Okay, so you can call or text me at 631-745-2944. 631-745-2944, or you can visit osteooasis.com.
There you go. And I am Tim Kennedy, your certified reverse mortgage professional. I am one of maybe 200 in the entire country with that designation. So any questions or concerns about home ownership, give me a call. 516-729-6040. Or you can reach me at Tim Talks Reverse. Neil, and I'll give you last word.
Main Street Code for Financial Success every Friday at 3, and I'm the owner and president of Main Street Planning Group. We do insurance, life insurance, annuities, disability, long-term care, planning, and life settlements, and we work hand in hand with professionals like Tim and Julie and all the other people you hear on our show. So thank you.
If you need help, give us a call. Have a great week.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.